The Spurs game could have easily been a banana skin for us, but all in all, largely thanks to the Romero red, it was rather comfortable. In today's video, I want to break it all down, what worked, what didn't, and what it means now for Carrick United going forward as we try and win 5 in a row on Tuesday. As always guys, drop a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get into it.
Okay, let's go.
I'm going to start off with what I did like before I get into the stuff that I didn't quite like so much. But obviously in this game, the red card did heavily change the complexion of it. But even before that, I still think United showed some very good stuff with the ball. And all those rondos in training that we've been talking about, once again, they showed how important they are on the pitch. And this is a prime example of it. As Bruno Fernandes collects this ball, normally you'd think it's quite hard to play through this situation. But United, they do it in this game. And you can see how many United players they have in this condensed area of the pitch. But as Bruno Fernandes finds Matheus Cunha, Cunha does very, very well. We know how good he can be in these tight spaces. Obviously the same with the likes of Mino, Fernandes, even Casemiro as well. So United have players that are suited to playing in these sort of situations. But Cunha here, he's getting challenged by a couple of Spurs players, still manages to get the lovely little back heel into Bruno Fernandes, and then Bruno Fernandes then can get United out wide. And then we're sort of out of that really tricky situation. United keeping the ball rather than just kicking it to the opposition. So all that sort of work that we've seen Carrick do on the training pitch, it's not just for nothing. They're showing that during the games, we've seen it in all the games under Carrick so far, United playing in these tight areas. I mean, it's lovely to see. In attack then, United were using the rotations of the front players, and we were able to get a couple of good opportunities even before that red card. You've got an example of a year, you've got Luke Shaw in that position high and wide. He's allowing, it was largely Mbeumo playing from the left in this game, but you're allowing him to wander in field as Mbeumo picks up the ball here. You've got Ahmad out wide, and then you've also got Dalot then making that supporting run as well. So as Ahmad is looking to burst in field, as we know he likes to come in field on that left foot, it's really important you have someone like Dalot making that run on the outside of him, giving him the option, and also just taking the Spurs defenders away. So Dalot does that in this instance. Ahmad can cut in field. He finds a very dangerous ball into Bruno Fernandes. A really good chance that he probably should do a little bit better with. But it's an example of United really taking advantage of the space that Spurs leave sort of on the edge of their box where Bruno Fernandes finds in this instance. But it's also an example of using those rotations to create very dangerous opportunities. And then after the red then, it was always going to be about how United really broke down that stubborn block. And you're obviously going to draw parallels to the Everton game under Amrin where it was the same situation, but just a very different result. Obviously another set-piece goal did help us in this game. It was lovely work from United, and it's good to see that we're still working very hard on these set pieces. In general play though, United really suffocated Tottenham and we didn't allow them really anything. It did help that Tottenham didn't really have many sort of really dribbling, really pacey wingers. That did help. It was largely Tottenham trying to go into Solanke, which Maguire and Martinez sort of lapped up on most occasions. The most important thing was United not letting Tottenham play through us. But the same couldn't be said for that Everton game where, despite United having that man advantage, we still somehow managed to let Everton have these sort of midfield overloads, and it's what led to the goal in this game. And it just didn't make any sense. How are you allowing those midfield overloads when you have a man advantage? But it's clear that Carrick now is focusing on getting those players really combining in the midfield areas, both in defence and attack now. And in attack for Carrick is pretty common sense stuff. You don't need a consistent three at the back, especially when you're playing up against 10 men. Obviously, initially, you do see Dalot a little bit deeper and Shaw stays high and wide. Obviously, this allows then Mbeumo or Cunha, whoever's on the left, to roam a little bit more in field when Shaw occupies that position. It's an example of Carrick obviously adapting when Dogu had that injury, because Dogu was largely playing high and wide, but when Dogu got injured then, we would see Shaw occupying the high and wide position with Dalot dropping a little bit deeper. But obviously with United, you just, especially playing a back three, you don't need that three at the back at all times. So Dalot still had a little bit of license to venture a little bit further forward, make those penetrating runs, so United have a combination on both flanks then. So we just really just used a ton of combinations, a ton of rotations to really get a lot of dangerous attacks up against this Tottenham team. United were sloppy at times in this game, but we just had more than enough to get the job done, and that's the most important thing. And looking at the pass maps from the game, you can see how important that midfield area is to Carrick's United. The three of them combining so well in this game. Then you've also got the combinations on the left-hand side. Shaw occupying the width, Cunha and Mbuemo allowed to venture further in field. And then you've got that lopsided sort of back three. Dalot able to venture a little bit further forward. Maguire obviously holding the deepest position as Martinez is able to go a little bit further forward and find those incisive passes a little bit further forward as well. And again with Martinez, I just run out of words to describe especially his play on the ball. I mean, it's hard to think of many other centre-backs with a better passing ability from centre-back. It's absolutely wild now, and he's continued to show it ever since he came back from injury, and I just wanted to stay fit now. Obviously, in that Everton game, Amorim was still missing the passing of Martinez, but it still doesn't excuse the terrible intentions that we had throughout that game. Even in the 85th minute of it, still keeping that rigid back three and having Fernandes playing as deep as he was. I mean, it's just crazy. What Carrick has done is very simple, but it's just brought about a big change at United, and is something that we've been crying out for a while now. And Carrick's United has been far from perfect. There were instances in that Fulham game where they were able to play throughout press far too easily and access really the middle of the pitch. And it was the same for Tottenham as well before that red card. This was another prime example of it. United's midfield two obviously moving up onto the Spurs double pivot. United in that sort of 4-4-2 pressing shape with Fernandes and Cunha forming that sort of front two marking the centre-backs. But I've highlighted Xavi Simons here. He wanders in. He's got that little bit of space in that midfield area. So one simple pass takes United's midfield out of the game. Martinez doesn't really know whether to go and press on Simons or not. So Simons is able to turn with the ball and get Tottenham playing further forward. So they're out of that press in one pass, and United are retreating then. There were a few instances of United two in midfield really getting overloaded in that 4-4-2 shape, and we saw that up against Fulham and at Tottenham as well. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on now in the next few games under Carrick to come. See what sort of adjustments they make to that, because I'm sure the Carrick has something up his sleeve for it. But overall, I mean, you can't really complain with the work that he's done so far. Players in their proper positions, players just with the platforms to shine, and just starting Kobe Mainoo in the first place. Who would have thought that would have helped us, eh? But there we are, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Long may the winning run continue so United can keep just really cementing that top four space, because we know how pivotal that's going to be going into what's going to be a major summer transfer window before next season as well. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a like if you enjoyed it, guys. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you in the next one.